A student once came to a Zen master seeking enlightenment. He had read countless books on philosophy, studied sound, logic, and metaphysics, and believed he was ready for the ultimate truth. The master listened to him quietly, then said, "If you truly wish to see beyond illusion, I will give you a single question. Bring me the answer when you find it." The student bowed, ready to receive what he thought would be a test of wisdom. The master leaned forward and asked, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" The student froze. He waited, thinking there must be some hidden meaning in the question. But the master said nothing more. "I will expect your answer when you return," he added, closing his eyes as if the conversation had already ended. At first, the student was confident. He assumed this was another philosophical riddle, something that could be unraveled with enough intelligence. He went to his quarters and began thinking. Maybe the sound of one hand clapping is silence, he thought. That seemed poetic enough. When he brought the answer back, the master shook his head. "No, try again." The next day, the student returned with a new theory. "Perhaps it is the wind," he said. "The motion without contact, the invisible energy." Again, the master replied, "No, try again." Days turned into weeks. The student tried everything: metaphors, poems, scientific reasoning, even meditative silence. Each time, the master rejected the answer without judgment, only repeating, "Try again." At night, the student lay awake, restless. The question haunted him. He imagined clapping one hand against the air, against his leg, against nothing. He began to realize how much his mind depended on opposites: sound and silence, motion and stillness, self and other. But he couldn't let go of the urge to solve it. His intellect, his greatest weapon, was useless here. One morning, exhausted and frustrated, he confronted the master. "You've given me an impossible question," he shouted. "There is no answer." The master opened his eyes, calm as ever. "Then why are you still trying to find one?" The student stood speechless. The master continued, "You think this riddle has a solution? You think there's a sound or no sound? You think there's meaning in words, but you cannot hear one hand clapping because you still hear two, yourself and the world. Stop dividing what is one." That was the first time the student understood that the question wasn't a puzzle, it was a mirror. The master explained that koans like the sound of one hand clapping exist not to be answered, but to exhaust the intellect. When the logical mind tries to tackle a paradox, it runs in circles until it collapses. That collapse, when reason admits defeat, is the door to awakening. The student had to think until thinking failed. The master said, "Your mind is addicted to solving. It lives in opposites, yes and no, right and wrong, sound and silence. But truth is not found in either. Truth is what exists before your mind divides the world." The student left the room humbled. He spent his days meditating with the koan, not trying to answer, but to feel it. Whenever a thought arose, he observed it. Whenever an image appeared, he let it pass. Slowly, his obsession with finding an answer softened. The question began to live in him, not as a problem, but as presence. Weeks later, while walking alone in the temple garden, he heard the wind passing through the trees. For a brief moment, everything dissolved: the sound, the silence, the listener. There was no separation between the hearing and the heard. The rustle of the leaves wasn't outside him or inside him. It simply was. In that instant, he understood, not as an idea, but as a direct experience. The sound of one hand clapping was not a sound at all. It was awareness itself, the quiet consciousness that perceives both sound and silence. He ran to the master's room and bowed deeply. The master looked at him and smiled. "You have heard it," he said. The master later explained to the students that this moment, this sudden leap beyond thought, is what Zen calls satori, or direct insight. It's not an intellectual understanding, but an awakening that dissolves the boundary between the self and reality. The koan had done its job. It had broken the student's dependence on logic and language. He said, "The sound of one hand clapping cannot be heard with your ears. It is the sound before hearing. It is what exists before you say this or that." When you realize this, you see that all opposites, sound and silence, life and death, light and dark, are one fabric. The division only exists in the mind. This was the shattering of duality. Every human being lives in pairs of opposites. We define good by comparing it to bad, joy by comparing it to sorrow. But the Master revealed that this constant division is the root of suffering. Reality itself does not split, it simply exists. It is the mind that slices it apart. He said, "When you remove those divisions, you see life as it is, complete, whole, undivided. The sound of one hand is not silence, it is unity." The student spent years reflecting on that awakening. Whenever he caught himself judging, comparing, or labeling, he remembered the koan. When he felt anger towards someone, he saw that anger came from seeing the world as me versus them. When he worried about failure, he saw that fear was the mind's illusion of success versus loss. The koan had taught him that peace lies in seeing beyond both sides. The Master explained to a new group of students that the koan is not just a meditation tool, it is a mirror for modern life. Every day, people chase answers. We analyze, argue, measure, and label everything. But in doing so, we lose touch with the simple, direct experience of being alive. We become so busy describing reality that we stop experiencing it. He told them, "The sound of one hand is not something you can explain. It's what remains when you stop trying to explain. Imagine your mind like a pond. Every thought is a ripple. When you drop the habit of seeking, the surface becomes still. And in that stillness, reality reflects itself perfectly. That reflection is not thought, it's direct perception." The Master once said, "When you think, you create two hands. When you stop thinking, one hand becomes everything." That's why Zen practice uses paradoxes instead of doctrines. A paradox bypasses logic and forces the mind into silence. When logic fails, awareness awakens. That awareness is not something to be achieved, it's always there, hidden beneath the noise of thought. For the student, the breakthrough changed everything. He realized that every koan, every meditation, every teaching pointed to the same truth, that what you seek is already what you are. The sound of one hand is the sound of being itself, the pulse of life, unfiltered by the categories of the mind. Years later, when he became a teacher, he asked his own students the same question. Some tried to be clever, others sat in frustration. But he knew they would have to walk the same path he did, the path of exhaustion, confusion, and surrender, until their intellect broke open and the deeper awareness flooded in. He told them, "The koan is not a riddle, it is a key, but the lock it opens is not outside you. It's in the wall you've built inside your own mind." The sound of one hand clapping continues to echo across centuries because it points to the truth that cannot be spoken. Words divide, but silence unites. And in that unity, all opposites dissolve. You realize that sound and silence are not two. They are one expression of the same reality. In the modern world, this lesson is more urgent than ever. We live surrounded by noise, opinions, arguments, endless data. We chase clarity but fill our minds with clutter. The koan invites us to do the opposite, To stop chasing, stop solving, stop dividing. Just listen, not with your ears, but with your being. If you listen deeply enough, you'll begin to hear it too, not as a sound, but as awareness itself. The pure, boundless silence that holds everything. That silence is not empty. It's alive. It is the sound before sound, the space before thought, the moment before creation. So the next time you hear the world's chaos, the chatter, the conflict, the endless noise, remember this koan. Ask yourself, what is the sound of one hand clapping? Don't answer it, just listen. Because in that listening, the mind stops and reality begins. And if this story made you pause, if it made you think, or better yet, unthink, then stay with that silence. Let it grow. Because that's where understanding truly lives. And if you'd like to keep exploring stories that do more than entertain, stories that awaken, then like, comment, and subscribe to The Fictionist, where every story isn't just told, it's lived.